For the SCCM trainer. So about me, I had completed Bachelor of Engineering. I have the five plus like IT experience in SCCM. I have like 3+ years. I have the experience in the SCCM field, and as well as I have, apart from my SCCM skills, I have completed my global certification as well in Azure Fundamental and Azure Administrative. Here we can see the scope of the of SCCM. Like what is the SCCM, or what is the history of the SCCM? Okay, SCCM feature and functionalities. What are the SCCM sites? What is it? Okay, then like hierarchy of SCCM. Like what is the hierarchy and how it works? Then we'll create a lab setup. We'll create a lab setup on Azure or an on VMware or VirtualBox. We can create a lab setup and we can test all the functions of the SCCM accordingly. Then we'll see the SCCM architecture and we'll discuss about the certificates. So here the courses clients like SCCM server requirements and installation. So for the SCCM server requirements and installation, in the production, for if you create a lab setup for the SCCM for your testing purpose only, so you can create 3 to 4 VM or 3 to 4 instance in Azure or for the SCCM sites, SCCM server. Like one is for SCCM server database, like SQL database will be installed on that. Then one is for the domain server, and 2 we can consider for the clients or the Windows 10 installation operating system for the client to receive the policy from the SCCM server for the testing purpose. And for the lab create, you have requirement if you have the visible RAM and hard disk of your on your laptop, then you can go with the VirtualBox or Hyper-V VMware. And in production environment, it requires same as we discussed. Then in discovery and organization resources in SCCM. So first, I'll introduce with the SCCM history. Like what is the SCCM history? So Microsoft has launched SCCM server in 1994 as SMS. As SMS stands for System Management Server. So in 1994, the first updates or first launch from the Microsoft, it was 1.0. Then it was continue till 2003 as SMS 2003. Then Microsoft has decided to change the server name that SMS to SCCM, as it was SCCM it stands for System Center Configuration Manager. Okay, then it was started from 2007 SCCM to as a SCCM naming convention for the SCCM server 2007 to 2019. Okay, then from the 19 Microsoft has again changed the name of the SCCM server to the MECM, like it stands for Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. Okay, so now it is continue, and then you can get Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager version is now 2107 is continue running in my environment, and also mostly in the 2107 is running and mostly environment also. And Microsoft is released like SCCM server or MECM server updates in a year, 3 times, like up to 4 months in a 4 months of cycle. So in a year, Microsoft releases MECM server updates 3 times. Okay. So what is the discovery and organization resources in SCCM server? Actually, when we install SCCM server, so it is integrated with Active Directory. So what are the devices or what are the users are created in the Active Directory? It is discovered automatically from the SCCM servers. Okay, so there are some discoveries like Active Directory group discovery, Active Directory group system discovery, Active Directory user discovery. Okay, there are heartbeat discovery. Okay, So there are many discovery we'll see in the practical. Okay, so there are again some boundaries also to configure the IP. Okay, to get the devices from the IP range or IP subnets to in the SSM server. Then we'll see managing the configuration manager client. Okay, so we can also see like how to manage the clients from the SSM server. Like if you install the you have to install the configuration manager client on the endpoints, like uh, it will be server or it will be like Windows operating system. So we have to install configuration manager. So there are some repo types are there to install the configuration manager client on the server endpoints. Like you can install by client push. Like client push is a method to install automatically SSM client from the SSM server to the device. Okay, but there are some requirements. There are prerequisite for it. If the prerequisite has done and if it is fulfilled, then we can install automatically from the SSM server. So we can install configuration manager client on that device. Okay. So there are some manual installation also. We can go on that device and we can install system client, configuration manager client on that device, and we'll check the communication from the client to the system server whether it is proper or not. Okay. Then managing, we can manage the software deployments. Okay, from the SCCM, like software deployments. If, for example, if there are some thousands of device. Okay, for example, if there are some 10 device, okay, this project requirement has to complete some Google Chrome or some 3 to 5 applications are there which has to be installed on that 10 devices. Okay, by end of day. So that will be possible. Okay, by some if you have the number of the some the 10 to 20 devices, that will be possible to install manually. But if, for example, there are some thousands of machines, then how we can install that by manually, or some how we can install that technical support, like whatever that technical engineer will be available there, support engineer will, so it may take around some more days or some more months for it to complete. But for by the SSM you can complete the task in just 5 to 10 minutes, because just you have to create you have to create a package like a command. You have to create a command to install the silently on the devices. Okay, and just you have to deploy that like application or the batch file which you have created on the SSM server to the endpoints. So that will be deployed. That will go to endpoints. Okay, whatever you have selected, thousands, or that could be thousands or more than thousand, like 2,000, 5,000 around. So it will install in some next half an hour on that all the devices automatically. SSM is nothing but automation. Okay, so from the SSM, by the SSM you can do anything or you can do any changes. Okay, from SSM server to the 10 points, you can do, you can deploy any application. You can change any of setting, like registry settings, like any file folder creation from the SSM server. We can do anything from the SSM server. Okay, then we can see deploying and managing Microsoft updates. So this is very major part of that SSM server, because in organization, okay, if there are many servers and many devices, that should be updated with all the Microsoft security updates, critical updates, as Microsoft has released that Windows update on every month of second Tuesday. So that should be filled with the latest update of the Microsoft. Okay, so with the help of SCCM, we can target all the devices. Okay, with all the set of updates which released by Microsoft to the endpoints in a day or in 2 days. You can target all the devices and it will be compliant with the latest updates. So that is also very necessary, because as the security, all the devices should be compliant. All the devices should be updated with the Microsoft updates. So we can also update all the devices with Microsoft released updates. Then we can manage operating system also. Like operating system in, we can create task sequence. Okay, with the set of drivers, with the set of applications. Okay, if there are requirement like a for you have to install Windows 10 20H2 or whatever it will be with the version, Windows 10 if you can assume. So, and with the sets of like around some 20 or some like 15 20 softwares are there, that should be also installed during that operating system deployment. So that also we can configure with the task sequence. So we can add the applications, we can add the drivers, okay, we can add the operating system in that. So once that task sequence will go to the destination machine, the destination machine will install all the configuration or all the configuration which we have seen from the SSM server will be installed automatically to the destination machine. Like it will install operating system, then it will install configuration managers, then it will install the basic software which are mandatory to the organization day-to-day activities. Then you can, as I mentioned, like you can manage the compliance settings and profiles. We can see it, or if you have some like requirement, a management requirement, if they required or they asked you as a SSM engineer, just I need the data, okay, which have local admin rights, okay. So you can fetch the data, or you can fetch the report from the SSM also. You can provide to your management team, okay. And you can see the monitoring, like all SSM components. There are many components like of the SCCM, like distribution side, like WC synchronization happening or not. So that all like SSM components. Okay, there are database link, whether it is working or not proper. The database communication is happening or not proper. Okay, so all SSM components need to be monitored daily. Then SSM sites, there are actually three sites like primary, secondary, and cache. So cache is the first. Cache is the top hierarchy of the system. Cache is nothing but a central administration site. Then it comes primary site and secondary site. So primary site is a mandate. Cache you may have or not have. There is like not mandate for cache, but primary site that is very mandate. Like if you installing the SSM site or SSM server pre-installation, then you have to go with the primary only, because first if you have the primary server, then you can go for the secondary server, secondary site installation. And if you have the like more than one primary, then only you can go for the cache installation. Okay. The next is site roles. We'll see there are some around 18 site roles are there. Okay. Let's some site roles like there, distribution point, there are secondary, the software update point roles, the management point. Next is software update point role, state migration point, fallback status points. There are 18 roles are there, and around some 6 to 7 SSM roles are installed with the and built while installing the SSM site, SSM server. Okay, so there are some, and there is a very big roles of that major roles of that site roles, okay, for the SSM server communication. Like you have to maintain like backups on server, because if sometime if the SSM server has got crash, then you need maybe help to restore the data. Okay, and querying and reporting the data. Querying by the creating the query, you can fetch the report. Like if your management has request you to publish the data which having the Google Chrome. Okay, so you can select the you can create the query for it, like how many devices having the Google Chrome, and you can also create the query for if you want to particular Google Chrome version. Like now currently Google Chrome has released the Chrome version 99. Then you can select the Google Chrome for the version 99. And you can create a query for it if you want to get the report. Okay, if you want to get the report for Google Chrome version 99, then you can also create a query for it and you can get the data. You can create any type of query in SSM if you want to some data, like how many systems having 8 GB memory, or how many systems having the 1 TB hard disk. Okay, so this type of data also you can get, okay, by creating the query. Okay, if your management has asked you to publish the data, like how many system has compliant with the like Microsoft latest patches, you can create a query and you can get that also. Mostly like auditor has for the audit purpose, you have to maintain the data as well. So like security team asked many times like we need the data of how many like the users having the admin rights. Okay, so you can get the data, you can create a query for it and you can get the data like how many users having the admin rights on the machines. Okay? You can create any type of query. You can give the data of the machines. Okay, then we can manage the inventory and software metering. Miscellaneous topics, like in miscellaneous topics we can cover like security rules. Like if you like organization, you have to maintain the security rules and SSM access also, because if there is a guy who does not aware about the SSM functions or SSM features, like it can be dangerous if you give the directly admin rights to him. Okay, so you can give the like read only access. Okay, as per your as per according to you. Okay, if you have a team like SSM team in L1 level, just you can allow the read only access to the L1 users. In L2, if you want to give the like only some changes also, as per that level allow the you can allow the access. Okay, as per your accordingly. In additional on topics we can cover, like over here the Intune. Intune is a like it's next step of the SSM server. Intune is a cloud-based features. Like Intune, we can manage. It is actually Azure-based. There is a Microsoft folder because of it has configured on Azure, and so we can manage through the Intune like Android, iOS. Okay, so you can manage mobile device as well. You can install any application on the mobile. Okay, by deploying through the Intune, you can change the any setting of your mobile from the Intune also. You can change, you can uninstall or you can install any software, any application. Okay. Next, we can create a Azure. For the learning purpose, we can create SSM lab on Azure or VMware or VirtualBox as well. Like in on the Azure, you have to create a free trial or free subscription account on the Microsoft Azure, and then we can create and actually Microsoft Azure use the like 14,000 credit for to learn ourselves, and then for I think month or 2 months it gives the free trial. Okay, free subscription, so we can learn and we can install the SSM server on the Azure lab. That will be free of cost on that Microsoft Azure. And if you do not have any like, but for the Azure lab you should have to that credit card, because in that account creation of the Azure you should have that credit card. Okay, if you do not have any credit card, or if you have like much good RAM and hard disk on your laptop, then you can create a VMware or virtual with good hardware, like around 16 GB RAM, 1 TB of hard disk, or 500 GB also will work. But more than 16 GB hard disk, it's required to create a SSM server lab on VMware VirtualBox or Hyper-V. We can create lab setup that is prerequisite. Like if you are creating the hard like on Azure, then that network bandwidth should be like around 2 or 5 Mbps around it. System required like minimum 8 GB. It is required minimum 8 GB, but in 8 GB, that is it will not provide any like sufficient environment. Like it will sometimes it went hang, or it could be slow of your laptop if you create, because SSM installation you have to install many like SSM server, SQL server on that. Okay, and we require also to Windows client. Okay, to test the SSM policy to deploy it. For the Azure account creation, you have to have required. You should have the credit card for, or you have the Microsoft account. Okay, additional courses requirement. And this is actually Microsoft official link. Okay, so you can get all the syllabus and all the of SSM contents you can get here. Then we'll cover mock interview as well. This is about the certifications. Certifications is, if you want to go with the SSM certification, then this is the SSM like code, like MD100 and MD101. So you can, it's actually included SSM and Intune Plus, so there is no worry to get the like certification for the SSM also, and there is a separate for the Intune. This is included both. So You can conduct this exam. That's it.